Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Definition, aka the guy who was stupid enough to think that people would finally be happy after the release of the Snyder Cut. If you've been keeping up with the developing story, then you'll know that in the wake of it there's been a lot of posts about how Ben Affleck is replacing Robert Pattinson, the Batman is being cancelled, and a lot more stupidity. I actually got into it with a Twitter account last night that was talking about how the Batman was definitely going to be cancelled, and throughout this video we're going to be breaking down why this doesn't make any sense, isn't true, and is one of the stupidest arguments ever. I feel like at the moment we've become clickbait busters in regards to the movie, but we're going to be going over the main points that are saying why it's definitely being cancelled, and why if you use your brain for more than 2 seconds, you'll realise it's not. Don't think too much brain, you'll hurt yourself. Anyway, make sure you subscribe to the channel because we do breakdowns like this every day, and please drop a thumbs up if you're not a sucker. With that out of the way, thank you for clicking this. Now let's get into our breakdown of why the Batman isn't getting cancelled. Okay, so firstly, before we get into this, I'm just going to say up top that I've blurred the person's name out who I was talking to about this. If you're that bothered about seeing who it is, then it's still on my Twitter feed at Heavy Spoilers, but they did end up getting a lot of backlash, and I kind of ended the conversation by saying that I wouldn't add fuel to the fire. I don't really want someone harassed over their opinion of a movie, but yeah, this argument still needs to be talked about because it's slowly popping up everywhere. Now, whilst this isn't the only person writing this stuff, as it's the only one I've interacted with, I feel like I kind of need to show my logic versus theirs. This is pretty much going to be argument the video, and hopefully it's not too boring for you. Now, before we get into this, I have to say that the person who made the tweets is an actor that starred in Dumbo, some Amazon Prime shows, and more. Because of this, their opinion seemingly holds a lot more weight than mine, but this is why we kind of have to shut down these rumours more, because they come from a place that speaks with some authority. It's even gotten to the point that the clown crowd were wondering whether James Gunn's Suicide Squad was going to still be released after rumours of the Ayer cut surfaced, and yeah, this is getting beyond a joke, so we have to nip it in the bud. Anyway, obviously you can make your mind up as we go through this, and if you're on their side, then I'm gonna come round and beat you up. I'll find you, I've got your IP address. So initially, Brandon Davis asked whether people would be up for seeing Ben Affleck continuing as the Dark Knight in the DCEU whilst Robert Pattinson exists in a separate universe. The person then said that they think that the Batman will be scrapped, and then this slowly started to pick up steam with a lot of other accounts jumping in and saying that they'd heard that too, that things had fallen through that haven't been reported yet, and people are just freaking out and everybody has started losing their minds. I've included an example of this, but I know that Jezebel sits in the same camp as me, where we think that these rumours are just absolutely ridiculous. So I called this out and said that there was no way that Warner Brothers would scrap one of the biggest movies of 2021 because a movie from 2017 with some extra scenes in it is getting released on a streaming service. Obviously, if you've been following the channel, then you'll know we report on the Snyder Cut a lot, and we're aware that it's just more than some extra scenes and so on, but you know, you only get a certain amount of characters per tweet, so you've got to make it snappy. Now, what also happens in arguments on the internet that you might have just noticed is that when someone can't actually argue the point they're trying to make, they instead take an insignificant part of your point and then blow it out of proportion in order to derail the argument. This happens with spelling mistakes often, like I've done it, you've done it, we've all done it so we can win an argument on Facebook. Anyway, this happens a lot throughout this argument, but I'll try and keep my points at least succinct. So this guy, let's call him Joss Whedon for argument's sake, he starts talking about the Snyder Cut rather than the fact that he talked about how Batman was being cancelled because he thinks a streaming service is more important to the release of a movie. This is a dumb argument, and I followed it up by the main point that everyone seems to be forgetting in all of this. What if Warner Brothers just released them both, like they're doing already? Sorry, but your logic that they'd stop a movie that's gonna pass the billion mark for some HBO Max subscriptions is way off. Now, what I mean by this is it's very likely that Batman will pass the billion mark if we look at Aquaman, Joker, Captain Marvel and more, all of which I said to him. He doesn't think that they will, just because he doesn't, but bear in mind that Batman is the highest selling comic book character of all time. Even his side characters pass the billion marks these days, so if a movie is good and is well received, which let's be real, Matt Reeves is yet to really make a bad movie, then it will probably hit it. If I'm wrong and it doesn't hit the bill, I'll eat my bat, Sorry, that I need to stop doing that joke. But again, this guy, let's call him Kevin Feige for argument's sake, he disagrees with that. I'll try and do his voice.
The hundreds of movies didn't. Flawed logic, mate. Don't get your hopes that high. It's about movie quality, not box office. Captain Marvel is a great example of low quality, high box office.
So I'm not sure what they're arguing there. They think that because hundreds of movies didn't pass a billion mark that Batman can't, and that Captain Marvel is an example of a low quality movie getting a high box office, which I don't know, does that prove my point that comic book characters do? Well, I don't know. So then I says, let's call me Halle Berry's Catwoman for argument's sake. I says, you're kind of changing the argument and injecting your opinion into it to try and divert from the fact that you think the Batman, which is mid-production, will be cancelled on a hunch. He then replies with,
mid-production? Started filming in Feb, shut down in March, lol.
I follow that up by saying,
yes. Filming isn't the entire production of a film, is it? You have pre-production, set building, costume design, scripting, location scouting, etc, etc. Filming isn't the start of the production.
That's how I sound in my head. Bit like James Bond, innit, really. Anyway, Dominic Cummings, which we'll call him for argument's sake, since they talk about the same amount of crap, tries to one-up me a bit and brings out the, have you bothered to see what I do for a living? So yeah, if you work on a movie as an extra, you're definitely smarter than me for thinking that production only happens when the movie starts filming. Slow clap. I realised this wasn't going anywhere, and no matter what point I came back with, they would find the most pedantic part of the tweet and then change the argument to that. They were getting a load of crap at this point, and I decided to bail, mainly so I could passively aggressively make a video that they couldn't really respond to. Up yours, Dumbo. So the point still remains though that Warner Brothers will not be cancelling this movie. Just last week both Colin Farrell and Jeffrey Wright were giving interviews on the project, and even if this guy here thinks it's only been in production since February, the movie has likely been worked on for at least a year. It takes time to write scripts, then do a draft, do another draft, go through casting, set building and so on, and Warner Brothers at this point will likely have put up towards at least 50 million into the project, I would say. The Snyder Cut is unproven, and they will not cancel the film no matter what anyone tells you. If Pattinson gets his trilogy as predicted, then they will make, I would say, at least 2 billion at the box office, which is no small amount of money to throw away. Whilst the Snyder Cut will likely boost subscriptions to HBO Max, it will not equal $2 billion in revenue, no matter what the fanbase seems to say. Warner Brothers can do both. They are doing both. Nothing that they've said should make you think otherwise. Both projects can come out and coexist much in the same way that Harley Quinn's character, who is tied to the Leto version of the Joker, can come out whilst Joaquin Phoenix's exists. I hate saying Joaquin Phoenix because I always pronounce it wrong. Anyway, shut up. Stop believing people whose source is dude bro, trust me. Before Venom joined the MCU, we saw that Spider-Man was coexisting alongside him fine, so it makes absolutely no sense. The only reason that this rumour is picking up any steam is because for some reason a section of the Snyder Cut fanbase has got it into their heads that Ben will be coming back and that all they need to do in order to make this happen is derail the Pattinson project. Affleck has said numerous times that he's not going to be returning. He's told you this isn't like the Snyder Cut where it was teased. He's flat out said no. Also guys, just a lesson in life, if someone says no, just take it as a no. Now in order to add more evidence to why the film isn't being cancelled, I went and checked out Kevin Smith's Fat Man Beyond podcast, which talked about the Snyder Cut release. Smith had a video message from Affleck in it and also talked about the project itself and how it had come about. He said that Snyder was approached by Warner Brothers last November to complete the cut and that it's been worked on since then, but the pandemic has held it up. So why would Warner Bros do this and then also start filming the Batman if they were planning on cancelling it? It just doesn't make any sense. I know most of you already know this, but yeah, we have to keep telling these people to stop these rumours. The Snyder Cut came out because of some exceptional circumstances. Firstly, Snyder's daughter committed suicide, so he had to step away from the project. The film is also the most talked about movie on Twitter in Warner Bros. History, and they confirmed this to Smith. All the actors involved called out for it, and the fan base did too. Warner Brothers wanted a big title for their streaming service that wouldn't cost the full amount of a new film, and thus the stars aligned and things went ahead. This isn't the way that things will be happening all the time, no matter how many bloggers try to tell you that. This sets a bad precedent for films going forward. We won't be getting a Josh Trank Fantastic Four cut, because frankly, the interest isn't there like how it is with the Snyder cut. We will probably be getting the Ayer cut, but again, that's not a massive investment for Warner's as it's almost done. So yeah, overall, we need to start calling out these rumours before they pick up any headway, as there's no evidence for them, and in fact, the evidence points to the contrary. Dude Bro Trust Me isn't a source, a hunch isn't a hunch, no matter how movies you worked on, and it just makes no sense. Anyway, we can all rest now. What's that, Karen? Oh my god, what? Oh my god, I'm just hearing from my sources now that Warner Brothers want to bring back Heath Ledger as the Joker, and that they're completely scrapping Joaquin Phoenix's version. I'll keep you up to date with this story, Dude Bro Trust Me, as it develops, but in the meantime, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this rumour, if you actually believe it, or if you know it's probably not true. Comment below and let us know, and if you enjoyed this video, then please drop a thumbs up, and make sure you check out our breakdown of the rumours that Ben Affleck is replacing Robert Pattinson as Batman. We go over why it's not the case, why you need to ignore this stuff, so is it a fun video to watch? I'll let you decide. If you want to support the channel from as little as 99 cents a month, then please click the join button below. We massively appreciate it, and as a thank you, you get access to content early. If you want to come chat to us after the show, either follow us at Heavy Spoilers or click the Discord link in the description below. Every month we give away free movies to people who are subscribed to the channel, and this month you can win the Marvel Phase 3 Part 2 box set, and all you have to do is comment on a video and make sure you subscribe with notifications on. The more videos you comment on, the more you have a chance of winning, so make sure you get involved. The winner is going to be chosen at random on the 15th of June, and the set will be shipped out from then to whoever gets the prize, so best of luck to everyone who takes part. This is a channel for people who are super into superheroes, so if that's the kind of thing you like, hit subscribe. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. I've been Definition, you've been the best, and I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.